Today I'm going to review the brand new Voigtlander lens for Leica M-mount. This is going to be my 27th 35mm lens review for Leica. So if you're new here, you've come to the right place if you want reviews for Leica mount lenses. Hey guys, Matt here from MrLeica.com. Let's take a closer look at the new Voigtlander Skopar 35 3.5. Now this lens is special. This lens is potentially the smallest, lightest, high performance lens you can now buy for Leica M-mount. And to give you an idea of how small it actually is, here's the lens on my Leica M-A. And yeah, forgive me, you probably can't see the lens from over there. That's how small this lens is. This is a true EDC, everyday carry pocket lens. And you've got zero excuses not to have this camera lens combo on you at all times because it is that small. I'll bring up some footage to show you how small this lens is. It literally fits into the pocket on the side of your camera bag. It doesn't actually need to take up any space in your camera bag. This is the brand new Voigtlander Color Skopar 35mm f3.5 VM. VM basically means Leica M-mount. So if you know your lenses, you'll know that Voigtlander already has the Color Skopar 35 2.5. That's been around for quite a few years, and that was, I believe, the smallest or one of the smallest lenses for Leica M-mount. This is now smaller and it's even higher performing than the old lens. I've done lots of testing, and below I've written a massive review comparing all 27 lenses that I've tested. So if you want to look at that while I'm talking in the background, feel free to check that out. This lens performs very well even compared to things like a Leica Summicron, Voigtlander Ultron and various other lenses. I'll share some sample photos as we get into the video. Let me now head over to the desk and I'll show you a close-up of the lens and what's in the box. Flaghead Photographic kindly sent me the lens in both black and silver, so I can show you how they compare on different camera bodies. Here you can see in black, and it's a black gloss paint, so it's going to be perfect if you've got a black paint like an M camera. It doesn't match quite as well on like a matte black, like MA, like M10P, things like that. You've then got the silver version, which matches perfectly to your Leica M3, Leica M2, silver MP, silver M240, whatever silver camera you have. You can see here that the silver one's got the hood on, so in the box there's actually quite a few things. So if I take the lens off, this is like a mount, as I'll cover in a second. So there's the lens. It's crazy, isn't it? It's so small. Just to give you an idea of how small it is, here's the Voigtlander Ultron, popular lens, and it's about half the size. So what's in the box? You get one lens. If you get two, then bonus. You then get one lens hood, and it is a push-on style vintage hood where you've got like a black dot. If you line that up with the aperture dot, you then use the hood to move your aperture, which is quite a nice design. I don't know if you actually need the hood because I was using it without the hood and I didn't see a huge amount of lens flare, but if you like hoods, there's the hood. So hood included. You then have a lens cap metal for the lens hood if you're using it with the hood, and it's a nice secure fit. You also have a metal lens cap if you're using the lens without the lens hood, like so. And then as a bonus, something I've never really seen so much from Voigtlander before, or many lens companies actually, I won't open it, but you get a tiny UV filter which screws onto the front which screws onto the front of your lens. So because this lens is so small, it'll be a bit of a pain to attach a little UV filter. It'll kind of make the stack height higher. So they supply this super slim UV filter, which is the 34mm, which will then fit your lens. So lens, hood, two lens caps and UV filter. And if I just pop the lens back on, you can see it's like an M-mount as explained. These lenses are rangefinder coupled, so they're going to work on all rangefinder cameras and all like M-mount cameras. You can see a close-up. Maximum aperture f3.5 stops down to f22 if it's going to focus. In terms of the lens design, you've got a vintage style focus tab, So, and it's also doubles as a focus lock. So you need to depress the tab before you move it, otherwise it's locked in place like that. If you look on the top of the lens itself, you'll see that you've got the zone focusing aperture numbers but no distance scale, because the distance scale is actually on the front of the lens, as you can see, like so. So it focuses to a close focus distance of 0.7 meters, as you can see. Another special feature of this lens, it's got a covered helicoid. So unlike vintage lenses where you open them up and the helicoid is visible, you get all the dirt and crud and things sticking to the grease on the helicoid, like the screw inside. This is actually a covered design, so it's a really neat design. So well done Voigtlander for doing that. And yeah, it just looks so good on a Leica, silver Leica camera. I'm probably going to get a silver one because then it'll work on my silver cameras and also the black cameras. This is actually an M3. I've just got it paired up with a Light Lens Lab 35mm viewfinder, and then I can use the 35mm lens on a M3. So that's the silver lens. So one point I wanted to quickly show you, here's obviously the black lens, and here is the Voigtlander 42.8 Helia. Now the reason I'm showing you this is, one, this lens is already small and the new lens is actually even smaller. I'll do that so you can see. It's quite a bit smaller in fact. And the reason I want to show you this is because the Helia lens and the 28mm color Skopar in this version also have the 34mm filter thread, and so these come with the hood like so, and I've realised I can press fit a 39mm filter into the hoods and then just attach it with a bit of tape, you can see there, in between the filter and the hood. So the great thing with this is it's exactly the same size as the new Skopar, so now I can use the same style hood on this lens too. So it's good if you're using both lenses and you want to use the same filters on both systems. The cap from that lens fits this lens as well. That's the lenses. You can see I've been doing lots of testing against lots of similar 35mm lenses. So link below to the big write-up and some example photos which you won't see in this video. Okay, so lens spec, just make sure I've covered everything and told you everything you need to know. This lens focuses to 0.7 meters. It's got a 34mm filter thread. It is 6 elements in 4 groups optical design. If I can get it to focus, with 10 aperture blades, as you can see there, multi-coated with an spherical element. The weight of this lens is a tiny 99 grams, which is around, I think, 3.49 ounces, which makes it one of the lightest Leica M-mount lenses, as well as the slimmest. So yeah, it ticks many boxes. As you'd expect for Leica lenses, this is manual focus and it is rangefinder coupled, and as mentioned, available in gloss black or silver. I have asked them to make us a matte black one and also a screw mount version, but I don't know if they'll listen to me. Comment below if you want a screw mount or a matte black one. I think they're missing a trick here when many of the Leica cameras are matte black. Okay, so now you know what's in the box. How does this lens actually perform? So I use this lens on my Leica M10 and also on the Leica CL. Lens characteristics, if we start with lens flare, this lens is very well corrected. I really struggled to get this lens to flare. You can see a few examples where I tried really hard. And then here's a few examples where you got a band across the image. That's the only real flare I got. I then tested it against 7 other lenses, 8 in total, and you can see it performs much better than most of the other lenses in the test, and it's better than the sibling lenses, the Ultron and the Skopar 2.5. So well done Voigtlander. Sun stars, Voigtlander lenses are always excellent for sun stars, and this is no exception. Very nice sun stars from about 5.6 onwards. Here are some real examples when I was shooting in Lanzarote. Vignetting, you've got a bit of vignetting at 3.5 and f4. It's pretty much gone by f8. Here you can see the corner crop. You can see it's slightly darker for the first 2 f-stops. Corner sharpness, most lenses are sharp in the center, so I've started just testing in the corners. I did an 8 lens test again. Check the link below for the blog post. Here you can see that of the 8 lenses, it's a good performer. So I did a even bigger crop, and from this super crop in, it's one of the top 4 performing lenses of the 8 lenses I tested. So very, very good. Color test. Now I wanted to see what the colors look like compared to other lenses. Again, I compared to the 7 other lenses, and it's really the flare that makes the photos look different. So the colors look pretty nice from most of the lenses. Here's some real examples with the raw files on the left, and then my usual Mr. Leica black and white preset conversion on the right. And here's another few raw files just straight out of camera, these with the CL. Here's a few more examples now with the M10P. This was using flash, photo shoot in London. And here's the edits with the preset added. I wanted to test this lens, so I've taken it on various trips. I took it on a model shoot trip to Lanzarote. If you're into model photography, it was a model photography trip, and I'll share more behind the scenes and things on Patreon. If you want to get into model photography, you can pick up my ebook. I can put a link to that below. For the first trip, I took the little Leica CL, and it's got the Light Lens Lab close focus adapter, and these are raw images on the left with preset added on the right. Just to show you some out of camera, you can see that tiny bit of flare streaking across the image on some of those, but nothing really to worry about. Okay, and then for my next trip, I took the little Voigtlander Skopar 3.5 to Toulouse. We had a Patreon gathering in Toulouse, thanks to one of my patrons inviting me and some fellow photographers from the US and Europe over to his house. And he organised us a 10 model creative weekend, so lots of opportunities to test the lens. 35mm probably wouldn't be my first choice for model shoots, but on the CL, as you saw previously, remember that's a 1.5 crop camera, so 35mm gives you 50mm. This time I'm using it on the M10P, and so 35 is 35. And I found I actually enjoyed using the camera for the reportage style photos, telling the story of the trip itself. So photos around the house, photos walking to the town, photos in the town, and then a few photos with the models themselves. I really enjoyed this lens just walking around for the town. I think it'd be very popular for street photographers and travel photographers, anybody that just wants a small lens to carry in their kit bag. Excellent image quality regardless of the conditions you work in. And so here you can see me working with some of the models. 35mm is okay, but I tend to normally use a 50 for portraits. But if you get your angles right, you can get some nice images, and it's especially nice, as mentioned, for like reportage style. These images again, raw plus preset, like SL with the Mr. Leica presets. I can put a link below if you want presets. So the next question you may have is price. How much does this lens cost? In the UK, you can get the lens for £600 in Robert White. Compare that to £630 for the Ultron, and only £400 for the older 2.5 lens. Okay, the verdict. Can I recommend this lens? To simplify it, I've tried to break it down into pros and cons. For pros, it's a small high performance lens, as good as most of the other lenses I've got, only weighing 99 grams, super small, comes with hood, UV filter, everything you need. So in that sense, it looks amazing. What about the cons? As for cons, these are all minor things but worth a mention. The gloss black paint doesn't match the matte black cameras. It's pretty expensive for a 3.5 lens, and compared to the 2.5, the focus scale is on the front of the lens, not on the top, and it's got the infinity lock, which a lot of people don't like. And with all that said, will I be buying the Voigtlander Color Skopar 35 3.5? The answer is most likely yes. If you're a regular viewer, you know I'm a complete sucker for small lenses. Absolutely love them, especially when they're high performing like this. It's just going to be such a good lens for travel. Yeah, I think it's pretty difficult to say no.
Well, hey man, you're back.
This lens may be small and it gives me a small setup, but in reality, I'll have a massive bag of other cameras that I'll be carrying as well, normally film cameras and various other things. So yeah, I thought to make this quick sketch to show reality. Thanks to Flaghead Photographic for sending me the lenses to test. I do now need to send the lenses back, but if you live in the UK, you can make use of my discount code if you buy from Robert White. See the blog link below for all 27 35mm lenses that I've tested so far. And as always, a huge thanks to my amazing patrons.